Hey, how's it going, everyone? I've got the window open and I've got my washing machine on. So if there's a lot of noise, I apologize for that. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, it's a nice day today, and naturally, as it's a lovely day today, I'm completely indoors, not talking to anyone. And also, I'm trying to save money because, there's a whole thing with the rent, and then I've got to be traveling next month. So I'm just trying to count my coins. The problem is that I don't like to go out unless I actually have stuff to do because, gang stalking being what it is, I don't like to go out anywhere unless I actually have stuff on. So um, it's not the healthiest, but that's how I handle it. I came online today to talk about some things that were on my mind. Now, I told you guys that there was a potential plot against me again to try to get a reaction or to try to get me scared or what have you. As it turns out, this time the plot is around my personal hygiene and the plot is around how I smell. So presumably, right, there's been some following about, there's been some spying on my routine and what I do because these people know that I wash myself quite regularly or quite frequently. So they've taken that, and they've also taken the fact that when it comes to their own personal hygiene, that I don't really say anything on that. I haven't said anything up until this point. The only time when I actually mentioned it was in relation to the cobwebs because it sticks on your skin and it's gross. So it's like the only time when I actually mentioned their personal hygiene was when I was talking about the cobwebs that needed to be cleared, but they weren't focused on that and they were more focused on trying to get a reaction out of me. So they noticed that, they noticed all of those things, and they decided, oh, okay, so she must be paranoid about the way she smells then. Well, I mean, all right. So that from that, they kind of ascertained that, okay, so basically we need to attack her through her smell. So it started yesterday when I was in the co-op. Some blow up doll who plumped her lips, paid for her lips to be plumped to look exactly like mine, started talking about, oh, something stinks. I'm like, I mean, all right, cool. And then I came home and as it turns out, I could be wrong about this, but I think the plan is to either contaminate my aromatherapy oils or make it sound like my aromatherapy oils have been contaminated in order to get revenge. So clearly there's this whole thing around trying to humiliate me in some way. Okay, fine. My thing is not even this. My thing is, right, I got this shit going on because of electronic weapons being fired at my tooth. I have gum loss all around that side. I have shrunken organs because of electronic weapons being fired at it. I have brain damage from the electronic weapons being fired at my brain. So I don't have the full capacity of my intelligence that I used to have, even though I study a lot. On top of that, weapons have been fired in my eyes. It's literally taken me weeks to get over the double vision that I've been subjected to. It's taken me weeks to get over it, and I'm still not completely out of the woods, right? And then on top of that, I get assaulted occasionally by the electronic weapons when my reproductive organs are being manipulated. And I'm not just talking about like the vagine, I'm talking about like ovaries, fallopian tubes, all that being messed with. So I have all that to deal with. And then on top of that, when the electronic torturers feel like it, they attack my back, they attack my whole body to break it down and to make it look as if it's happening via natural causes. And then on top of the electronic torture, I'm being harassed for my race, for my weight, not for my sexuality, because they know I don't give a shit. They know that's probably the one thing that they can't get me on. They can't get me on my sexuality. So they harassed me repeatedly over my weight, over my race, over anything that they can find on me to try to weaponize against me to cause me as much pain, emotional pain as possible. They will try to find it. So I'm going through all of this, and then on top of that, you got psychiatry, who is meant to help mentally ill people, instead decide to make the situation 1,000 times worse by not only trying to invalidate the reality of people who are going through community stalking, they want to force medications on you that actively make any health problems that the DEWs have caused 1,000 times worse on top of that. So I have all of this to contend with. I have all of this to deal with on top of trying to live a normal life, trying to pay my bills, trying to manage my ADHD, trying to manage my BPD as a result of all the trauma that I went through in my childhood, which is most likely caused by gang stalking anyway. I've got to manage all of this, every single piece of this shit. And then on top of that, I've got my family, some family members betraying me. Some families might have been involved from the beginning. I've got my friends. I've got friends turning their back on me because it's too intense for them to deal with. Like, apparently my death is too intense for them to deal with. So I got all of this happening, all of this taking place. But because I'm laughing, doing tarot and singing, somehow I'm not suffering enough. Somehow, after all of this, after everything that I go through daily, the perps decide it's not enough. Because I laugh, I sing, I do tarot, and I insult the gang stalkers. So naturally, you want to take revenge on somebody whose organs are being fucked with and who's slowly being murdered. Or naturally, you want to get revenge on that person by making their problems even worse. Because why the fuck not? Do I need to say it? Do I even need to say it? Come on now. Do I even need to say it? I'm already socially isolated. What's me? I can't with this. I just can't with this. How evil do you have to be? How do you observe somebody going through all this, but because they cussed you out, they're not suffering enough? I can't with these people. It's just like, again, do I even need to say it? Do I even need to say what type of people the gang stalkers are by now? Do I even need to say it at this point? These people want to take as much away from you as they possibly can. And no, I don't care how they feel anymore. At one point, I actually cared. At one point, for years, actually, I wanted to empathize with the gang stalkers, and I wanted to see them as human beings, not because they deserved it and not because I had Stockholm syndrome, but because everything was just so ugly. Like, everything was just so unpleasant, like the fucking electronic torture, the SA because of some of the electronic torture, and then the community stalking, the community harassment of all kinds. Like, everything was just so ugly, and people were just showing the ugliness of themselves constantly to me. I just wanted, through my own mind, to focus on something good. So when it came to the gang stalkers, I tried to empathize with them. I tried to, even in the midst of insulting them, right? Like, because I got angry at their antics, I tried to empathize with them, and I always tried to, like, see things from their viewpoint and see things from the other side of the equation. But now my thing is this. I'm trying to live as healthy and happy a life as I possibly can. And I'm trying to ensure that other people who are in my position are not in my position anymore. and that they can actually lead as healthy and happy lives as possible, I want those people to live in peace. I don't want TIs to keep dying. I don't want TIs to keep, having sacrifices made, made of them. I don't want them to keep dying. I want them to live, and I want them to live in prosperity and happiness. And that's what I want for all targeted individuals. Even the ones who are not good people. That's what I want for all of you. Not just me. If I'm gonna get out of this shit, I want everybody out of this shit. Not just me. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I am a targeted individual. I don't want to be a targeted individual anymore. There are targeted individuals in this world. I don't want them to be targeted individuals anymore. I want us all to be able to live our lives and realize our full potential. It's not going to happen if there are more people than us that are in direct opposition to that. That's the reality of the situation. All the perps right now, regardless of how they do it, regardless of why they do it, regardless of how they feel, they are in direct opposition to people not being murdered, to people not being unnecessarily sacrificed, to people not being trafficked. I want an end to the trafficking, I want an end to the abuse, and I want an end to the murder. My perps and the perps of any TI are in direct opposition to that. I'm not interested in the way they feel anymore. They've watched enough of my videos to know how serious the situation is. They've watched enough of, other perps have watched enough TI material to know how serious the situation is. It's been fucking years. I've been saying the same shit. If the perps don't get it by now, then it tells you what kind of people they are. And the type of people they are beyond adjectives at this point. You can't even describe them. You can't even describe the type of evil that is. They are in direct opposition to the world potentially getting better. I can't afford to give a fuck how they feel anymore. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not going to underestimate them, because I never underestimate desperation and I never underestimate stupidity. It's always the motherfucker that is the most invested in you that you don't see. So I never underestimate that shit. I never underestimate desperation. I never underestimate stupidity. I never underestimate lack of integrity. I'm always ready for that shit. I've been ready. But as for actually caring, I don't anymore. I don't anymore. These people are out here creating suicidal ideations in people and wanting, having people wanting to kill themselves just to get away from them. But that's not enough. That's not enough for them. That's not enough for them. They have to rip every shred of self-esteem away from a person. Why? Because they cussed you out for doing what you're not supposed to be doing, for being in direct opposition to people getting justice. You got cussed out, so you feel the need to fucking, try your best to sabotage somebody who's trying to make the world a better place. That is the side you're on. Fuck how you feel. Fuck your feelings at that point. Your feelings are worthless. Especially if they lead you towards doing anything other than the right thing. So that's the plot. The plot is to have me paranoid enough, so that I don't smell good anymore, or that I don't know what the fucking plan is. And quite frankly, I don't care. It's not that I'm not going to keep an eye on it. I am going to keep an eye on it. But in terms of being emotionally invested, the only people I care about right now, my fellow TIs, is you. I don't give a fuck about these assholes. They have shown me time and time again who they are. It's time I started believing them. It's time I started believing them. So anyway, Let me know, my fellow TIs, how you guys are doing. As always, please, please let me know how you guys are doing. I honestly want to know. In fact, you know what? I'm going to have that as my intro. I'm not going to outro with that anymore. The first thing I'm going to ask you guys is how you guys are. Because I really want to know. I really want to know how you guys are doing. Okay? So, with that in mind, I'm going to go. I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. So, yeah. I'll see you guys soon. Peace and blessings. I love you so much. Have a wonderful day. And, yeah, we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.